It's gonna be a murder scene wherever I'm at, bitch.
The footage of NBA YoungBoy going live after NBA Ben 10 was shot spread across every platform at once. What looked like clout chasing quickly turned serious as chaos unfolded in the moments that followed. Now, everyone is asking the same question. What really happened? The live that broke the internet. On April 13, 2026, clips began surfacing across X, Instagram, and YouTube that showed NBA YoungBoy allegedly on Instagram Live, emotional and in tears, reacting to news about his longtime affiliate NBA Ben 10 being shot in Houston days earlier. The clips spread fast. Within hours, the word YoungBoy was trending across every platform. People in the comments were typing his name in all caps. Reaction channels were pulling the footage and uploading it before the original post even finished loading. The clip showed someone who appeared to be YoungBoy speaking directly to the camera. His voice was raised, his face showed emotion, and the words coming out were the kind that people screenshot and post without context. Lines attributed to him in these clips included statements like, "I'm going to war with the whole Detroit. I ain't dropped a bag since Van got handled. We fin to smoke you, Junior, and I've been riding around here for 3 days." Other versions of the clips had lines about Ben 10 never walking again and about 4KT making the city feel pain for any reason.
Kill it, catch a water shot for any reason. Yeah. It's gonna be a murder scene wherever I'm at, bitch.
That clip alone, posted by the account Observat on X, drew millions of views. The original post went up around April 13, 2026, and re-uploads on YouTube and Instagram added millions more on top. The comment sections on every version were full of people reacting to the idea of YoungBoy calling for war with an entire city. The name that kept appearing in these clips alongside YoungBoy's was All-Star Jr., a Detroit rapper who, according to everything circulating online at the time, had been the one who fired the shots that put NBA Ben 10 in a Houston hospital on April 8, 2026. Ben's condition at the time the clips were spreading was still unclear to many people online. Early reports had described him as being in critical condition. Some posts claimed he was paralyzed. Others said he had died twice on the operating table. The combination of those rumors and the YoungBoy clips created a level of online noise that was hard to cut through. The framing on most of the reaction accounts was the same. YoungBoy had crashed out. He had gone live and declared war. He was talking about Detroit. He was threatening All-Star Jr. by name. He was calling out OG33, another NBA affiliate, for allegedly leaving the scene when Ben 10 got hit. The story, as it was being told at that moment, was that YoungBoy had seen what happened to his brother and had gone public with his response in real time. Mainstream outlets that picked up the story noted that these clips and the specific declaring war quotes attributed to YoungBoy had not been independently verified. No official channels connected to YoungBoy confirmed the footage was recent. No statement from his team went out, but the clips kept moving and every hour that passed without a denial from YoungBoy's side was being read by people online as confirmation. The account Observat posted multiple versions across the April 13th to April 14th window, each framing the footage as YoungBoy's direct reaction to the shooting and to All-Star JR's trolling in the days that followed the incident. Those posts accumulated shares across Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram Reels. And for millions of people watching, the footage looked real enough. All-Star Jr. had not been quiet in the days between the shooting and the clips going viral. He had posted from a jewelry store in Detroit. He had made specific comments about Ben 10. He had released content that directly referenced the incident, and he had offered $20,000 to anyone who could recreate a specific challenge he designed in Ben 10's name. That energy, on top of early reports of Ben 10 being near death, pushed anyone watching into a state of high tension. So when the YoungBoy clips appeared, the audience was already primed to believe them. The reaction that played out online in those hours, the shares, the screenshots, the response videos built the frame for how this story was going to be told by the internet for days. Most people who watched the clips did not stop to ask when they were recorded or whether they had been verified or whether the quotes they were hearing were edited together from different lives. The clips looked like grief and anger in real time, and that was enough. By the time most people started asking questions, the story had already taken shape. NBA Ben 10 had been shot. The footage of YoungBoy reacting had gone viral. All-Star JR was online trolling. And the internet was treating it all as one continuous event, live, active, and still unfolding. What actually happened on April 8th in Houston is where the story begins. The night at Confessions. The shooting took place around 11:30 in the evening on April 8th, 2026 at a restaurant and lounge called Confessions, located on the 3200 block of Kirby Drive in Houston's Upper Kirby area. It was a Wednesday night. The venue was busy. A gathering connected to a birthday celebration for 4K affiliate OG33 was taking place there that evening, and multiple people from NBA YoungBoy's extended circle were present. According to statements from the Houston Police Department, the incident started when a group of men physically assaulted another man inside the venue and attempted to take the jewelry he was wearing. The targeted man was beaten by multiple individuals. When the situation escalated, he pulled out a firearm and fired multiple times. 2 men were struck by gunfire. Both were transported to Houston area hospitals in critical condition. Surveillance footage from the venue captured the entire sequence of events. That footage was turned over to Houston police and became central to the online conversation that followed, with YouTube channels and commentary accounts using the clips to reconstruct the moment the chain robbery attempt turned into a shooting. The man identified in rap circles and on social media as the one who fired the shots was All Star Jr., a Detroit rapper whose real name is Jeremy Ford. He had been present at confessions that night, and he left the scene after the shooting. In the days that followed, All Star Jr. framed what happened as self-defense. He had been attacked by multiple men who tried to take his chain, and he fired to protect himself. No arrest had been publicly announced by Houston police as of April 15, 2026, and the investigation was still active. NBA Ben 10, whose real name is Ben Anthony Fields, was identified by family members as one of the two victims. He is a Baton Rouge rapper and one of NBA YoungBoy's closest long-term affiliates. He had been part of YoungBoy's Never Broke Again circle since the crew's earliest days in Baton Rouge around 2015, and he was known inside 4KT and to YoungBoy's wider fanbase as a Day One member of the Inner Circle. Ben 10 was struck multiple times in the arms and legs. The second victim was shot in the torso. Both were in critical condition when they arrived at the hospital. The scene at confessions was chaotic. Multiple people had been involved in the physical altercation before the shots were fired, and witnesses in surveillance described a fast-moving sequence where the robbery attempt, the fight, and the shooting happened in quick succession. Jay Prince Jr., son of Rap-A-Lot Records founder Jay Prince, was reported to have been present at confessions that night. His name came up immediately in the stories that began circulating after the shooting, with multiple accounts suggesting he had a role in directing the confrontation with All Star Jr. Jay Prince Jr. publicly denied involvement in the specific altercation and stated that what was being said about him online had it wrong, adding that he would address the situation further later. On Academics Channel, the incident was broken down in detail.
This was the guy that allegedly, according to this story, Jay Prince Jr. tells Ben 10, go snatch his chain, they're in the same place eating.
That version of events that Jay Prince Jr. had directed Ben 10 to go after All Star Jr.'s chain inside the restaurant became the dominant narrative in the hours and days following the shooting. Even as Jay Prince Jr. denied it, the story stuck in part because of a reported personal conflict between Jay Prince Jr. and All Star Jr. that had been building before the night at confessions.
And unfortunately, niggas lose their lives, niggas go to jail, usually over a girl. And, you know, obviously if you ask them, they'll be like, we ain't beefing over no girl, man. He started disrespecting.
At framing, a dispute rooted in something personal rather than purely a rap beef, pointed toward why the night at confessions turned out the way it did. The chain was not just a chain. It was the surface expression of something that had been building between Jay Prince Jr. and All Star Jr. for months. And by the time it came to a head inside the restaurant that Wednesday night, it was violent enough to put two men in the hospital. The immediate days after the shooting were defined by two parallel narratives colliding. On one side, there were early social media reports claiming Ben 10 had been shot in the spine, that he was paralyzed, that he had flatlined twice. On the other side, people close to Ben 10 were pushing back in real time. OG Monique, the mother of YoungBoy affiliate OG33, posted on Instagram stating that Ben 10 was alert and urging people to stop spreading made-up stories. Other updates from affiliates described him as responsive and able to speak. But by then, the worst rumors had already attached themselves to the story, and the version that traveled fastest was the one with the most weight. Ben 10 shot, possibly paralyzed, possibly dying, and YoungBoy watching it happen from a distance. That version of the story, spread across thousands of posts within hours of the shooting, was the fuel that made the YoungBoy live clips land with the force they did when they surfaced days later. People already believed the worst had happened. The clips of YoungBoy reacting gave that belief an emotional anchor. And underneath all of it was a dispute that started long before the night at confessions. One that had its roots in a personal conflict, an alleged slight involving a woman, and the kind of pride that moves in street and rap circles the way it always has. How it started. The roots of the April 8th shooting reach back to a personal conflict between Jay Prince Jr. and All Star Jr. that had nothing to do with music on the surface. According to multiple rap blogs and viral explanations that circulated in the days following the shooting, the origin of the dispute was a woman, specifically All Star Jr.'s baby mama, who was alleged to have begun a relationship with Drince Jr. The claim, repeated across multiple sources and reaction videos, was that Drince Jr. had gotten involved with All Star Jr.'s ex or current partner, and that the dynamic had created a tension All Star Jr. felt needed to be addressed directly. In rap and street circles, that kind of situation carries a specific weight. It is not just personal. It is the kind of slight that people feel the need to respond to publicly, because leaving it unanswered reads as weakness to the people watching. All Star Jr. had reportedly pressed Jay Prince Jr. about it. The pressure between them was already present before anyone walked into confessions on April 8th. OG33's birthday gathering at the Upper Kirby restaurant gave everyone a reason to be in the same place at the same time. Jay Prince Jr. was present that night, as were Ben 10 and a number of other NBA affiliates. All Star Jr. was also there. According to the accounts that emerged after the shooting, Jay Prince Jr. allegedly singled out All Star Jr.'s chain during the gathering and directed Ben 10 and others to go and take it. The alleged instruction was precise. Go snatch his chain. And the people with Jay Prince Jr. that night reportedly moved on it.
Jay Prince Jr.'s, you know, there's that video of Jay Prince Jr. walking into the club, and it's like, It's like he was like an alien just arrived on Earth.
That image, Jay Prince Jr. entering the venue, appearing to survey the room and orchestrate what followed, became a fixture of the online storytelling that surrounded the shooting. Whether it reflected the full truth or a compressed version of it, the image stuck. What followed, according to surveillance footage and the accounts that referenced it, was a physical confrontation. Multiple men approached All-Star Jr., a fight broke out. They attempted to take the chain from his neck. All-Star Jr. fought back, and critically, the chain did not come off easily. That distinction mattered in how the story was told afterward. All-Star JR's jewelry, from the accounts describing what happened in those seconds, was real enough that it did not give. The people trying to take it were pulling against resistance. And in that chaos, multiple people on him, hands grabbing, the chain holding firm, All-Star JR reached his firearm.
Supposedly, this guy got around to getting his hand on a pistol, which is kind of crazy. They're in Texas.
The legal landscape around self-defense is permissive. The narrative All-Star JR leaned into immediately, and that his supporters repeated everywhere, was that he had done exactly what any person in his position would have done in that state. He was outnumbered, being physically assaulted, and having his property taken by force. When he drew and fired, he was protecting himself. Whether Houston police ultimately characterized the shooting as self-defense or something more complicated remains part of their active investigation. What is documented is that All-Star Jr. fired multiple times and that two people, Ben 10 and a second man, were struck by those rounds. Ben 10 was hit multiple times, primarily in the arms and legs, and went down inside the restaurant before being transported to the hospital. The second victim was shot in the torso. Both were critical when they arrived. OG33, the affiliate, whose birthday was the occasion for the gathering, became a secondary focus of the online backlash in the hours after the shooting. Multiple accounts claimed he had left the scene when the shooting started, abandoning Ben 10. All-Star Jr.'s posts after the incident included a hashtag mocking OG33 for allegedly fleeing. And that narrative spread fast enough to become its own storyline inside the larger story. For JPR Jr., the aftermath of confessions became its own problem. He was being named in every account as the person who set the chain robbery in motion. The one who pointed at All-Star Jr. and told Ben 10 to go get it. His denial came quickly, but it arrived into a media environment that had already processed the claims and started treating them as fact. He also cited his recent ACL surgery as evidence against the idea that he had been running or actively involved physically in the confrontation, pointing out that his mobility was limited. The combination of an unresolved personal beef, a high-profile setting, multiple witnesses, and surveillance footage made the confessions incident into something that could not be managed quietly. It was too public, and too connected to too many known names to disappear. And the moment All-Star Jr. started posting from Detroit in the hours and days that followed, it became something else entirely. The trolling campaign. All-Star Jr. was back online within a day of the shooting. The first post that drew the most attention came from a jewelry store in Detroit. He posted a carousel of photos featuring himself surrounded by new pieces, and the caption read, "Had to shoot to the D and get new ice cause my man's been 10. Took some of my stuff to the hospital with him." The hashtags in the post named OG33 directly and mocked other individuals allegedly present at confessions. The post was a declaration. It framed the shooting entirely on All-Star Jr.'s terms as an act of self-defense. He had already moved on to the point of heading back to Detroit and replenishing his jewelry before Ben 10 was even stable in the hospital. The caption read like a trophy, and for millions of people who saw it, it landed exactly that way. Academics broke it down in real time.
Now, All-Star JR popped online, and he said, "I had to shoot to the D and get some new ice cause my man Ben 10 took some of my stuff to the hospital with him."
Academics' reaction captured what most people felt in those moments. A mix of disbelief and recognition that something dangerous was playing out online. He drew an immediate comparison to BTB Savage, a rapper who had done a similar round of online bragging after a shooting and was killed shortly afterward.
Yeah, I remember the nigga who was like, he flexed in front of the door where he shot the dude and he killed the dude or something.
The comparison Academics was making had a specific meaning. BTB Savage had been celebrated in those same online circles before being shot dead. The parallel was not subtle.
BTB Savage, this was bad. BTB Savage did the same shit, and he was flexing and clowning the person he got shot, thinking that it was over with. He did a whole interview.
The second wave of All-Star Jr.'s content hit even harder than the jewelry post. He created what he called the Ben 10 Challenge, a dance that mimicked the moment of being shot and falling. He posted videos of himself performing it, and then he offered $20,000 to whoever submitted the best video doing the dance while it spread across platforms. The challenge was introduced in a video that circulated widely.
Now the best way this dance can work, if a nigga shoot your...
The instructions that followed in the clip were graphic. They described the mechanics of the dance as requiring someone to be shot multiple times before falling. The reaction divided sharply. People who viewed All-Star Jr. as having stood his ground celebrated it. People connected to Ben 10 and YoungBoy's camp called it heartless and dangerous.
$20,000 Ben 10 challenge. Best Ben 10 challenge, man, that go viral. With me.
The challenge spread immediately. TikTok, Instagram, Reels, and YouTube Shorts all hosted versions of people attempting it, and the $20,000 prize accelerated the spread far beyond All-Star Junior's existing platform.
Do the Ben 10, do the Ben 10, do the Ben 10, do the Ben 10, do the Ben 10.
All-Star JR also released a new single titled Expensive Wristwatch with visuals that directly reference the Houston events. The track taunted Ben 10, Jay Prince Jr. and NBA affiliates. It arrived as an escalation, not just online posts, but actual music packaging the incident as a win. His direct shots at individuals followed the same pattern when a YoungBoy affiliate named Plongan replied to one of his posts with the words "Walking Dead." All-Star JR fired back publicly, "Well, guess who ain't walking? Welcome to the real world." He targeted Jay Prince Jr. directly in separate posts, calling him soft and promising to show the world what he was made of. He posted captions that read, "Thought he was mobbized till I shot his ass a few times." Academics flagged how the escalating tone was heading somewhere that typically ends badly.
I want to just warn this guy, All-Star JR. Usually these stories don't end like this. You probably should take severe precaution.
The warning was pointed. All-Star Jr. was making himself a very loud target in a situation where the people he had shot were connected to one of the most loyal and street-rooted crews in modern rap. All-Star Jr.'s response to anyone telling him to calm down was consistent. He had not started anything. He had been sitting in a restaurant getting food, minding his business. Other people had come to him with violence and he had responded in kind. In his framing, the trolling was not celebrating anything. It was matching the energy of people who had sent multiple men to rob and assault him in a public setting. Whether that framing held up beyond All-Star Jr.'s own circle was another question. The reaction from YoungBoy's side of the internet remained controlled for a few days, measured in affiliate posts and indirect threats. But then the clips of YoungBoy going live began to circulate and the online energy shifted dramatically. What those clips actually were, whether they were real, recent, and verified is the question the internet had been building towards since April 8th. What the footage actually is. By April 14, 2026, the story that most people were carrying had three elements they treated as established fact. Ben 10 had been murdered or was near death. YoungBoy had gone live, crashing out and declared war on Detroit. And new shooting footage of YoungBoy was circulating that confirmed his response. Each of those three elements has a specific relationship with the truth, and none of them hold up the way they were being told. Start with Ben's condition. The early reports of paralysis of him dying twice on the table of being on life support. Those claims swept through social media between April 8th and April 10th and became the foundation for everything that followed. They were wrong. OG Monique, the mother of YoungBoy affiliate OG33, posted on Instagram stating Ben 10 was alert and urged people to stop spreading made-up stories. Multiple updates from people inside Ben 10's circle describe him as responsive, able to speak, and improving. Family members confirmed to local outlets, including KPRC2, that he was recovering in the hospital. Ben 10 was not paralyzed. He was not on life support, and as of April 15, 2026, he had not died. The framing of murder attached to every YouTube title and X post that described this situation as YoungBoy reacting to his brother's death was not accurate. This matters because the viral YoungBoy live footage. The entire emotional weight of the crashing out and declaring war narrative was built on the assumption that Ben 10's situation was as catastrophic as the early rumors described. If YoungBoy had gone live and said his brother would never walk again, it was being read against a backdrop of paralysis rumors that were already trending. If he was threatening Detroit, it was in response to a shooting being described as a murder. The emotional scale of the clips mapped directly onto the worst version of the story. When the worst version turned out to be false, a different set of questions followed. Mainstream outlets, including Hindustan Times, explicitly noted that the specific declaring war quotes attributed to YoungBoy. The threats about All-Star Jr., the "I've been riding around here for 3 days." The war talk directed at Detroit had not been independently verified. No confirmation from YoungBoy's team, his official channels, or any credible outlet backed the quotes as recent and authentic. The clips circulating across X, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook were viral, but they were not verified. YoungBoy had reportedly deactivated his main social media accounts in early March 2026, weeks before the shooting. His verified accounts showed no recent activity confirming any of the live sessions being attributed to him. His team issued no statement. The only documented reaction from his immediate circle consisted of indirect posts from affiliates and a social media post from his mother defending Ben's family. The clips that spread so fast, the ones with the war language and the Detroit threats, are consistent with a pattern that shows up in these situations. YoungBoy has a history of emotional Instagram lives. The clips look real because he has gone live in emotional states before during past affiliate incidents. Some of what circulated may be genuine footage. Some may be older lives resurfaced and reframed for the current moment. Some may be edited together from different sessions. None of it has been independently confirmed as new footage recorded specifically in reaction to the April 8, 2026 shooting at Confessions. The framing of new shooting footage of NBA YoungBoy is where the title reaches furthest from what is documented. YoungBoy was not at Confessions on April 8. He did not fire any shots. He has no confirmed involvement in any subsequent incident tied to the shooting. There is no verified footage of YoungBoy shooting anyone in connection with this story, and there is no documented incident in which he is known to have been physically involved in any retaliation that has been discussed online. What exists instead is a massive viral story built on a sequence of escalating misrepresentations, a shooting that was real and serious, a victim condition that was overstated, a young boy live that was unverified, and an online trolling campaign that was fully documented and gave the whole story its emotional temperature. The parts that are confirmed. The shooting at Confessions on April 8. Ben 10 being hospitalized in critical condition. All-Star Jr. firing shots he described as self-defense. J. Prince Jr. being present and denying orchestrating the robbery attempt. All-Star Jr.'s trolling campaign, including the Ben 10 challenge and the expensive wristwatch single, and Houston police continuing to investigate the shooting as an attempted robbery that turned violent with no arrests publicly announced. The parts that are not confirmed. That Ben 10 was murdered or permanently disabled. That young boy went live and issued the specific war declarations being attributed to him. That the clips circulating represent new and verified footage. And that any physical retaliation tied directly to young boy or 4KT has taken place as of this writing. What makes this story worth examining is not simply that there is a gap between what is claimed and what is true. That gap exists in most viral rap stories. What makes it significant is the speed at which the false version locked in and how much of the online reaction was built on unverified claims stacked on top of other unverified claims. All of it accelerating under the weight of All-Star Jr.'s trolling and the rawness of what happened inside Confessions that Wednesday night. All-Star Jr.'s trolling was real, the Ben 10 challenge was real, the shooting was real, documented and under active police investigation. All of that is on record. The young boy war declaration is not. And as of April 15, 2026, Ben 10, described by his own circle as alert, responsive, and improving, is not dead. Found this information exciting and unbelievable? Be sure to check out other similar and amazing videos on the screen. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next.